everyone, I'm going to try to do a quick video here showing you some tips on doing solids and then a couple different ways to do overlays. So the color I have here is called Jewel of Mumbai. It is a very dark color with a little bit of a red-brown tint to it. So it kind of looks black until you tilt it around in the light. So I left my thumb here and my pointer finger is kind of clear because I'm going to use those as like my tool set. So you kind of want to work pinky to thumb. So anyway, so you can use one strip for 2 nails, and there's a couple different ways to do that. So one of the ways, if you like to use 2 strips but you have a hard time really getting that second strip, is you can actually cut it in half. So I was trying to find my clear plastic piece. So what you can do is you can take your plastic overlay here after you take it off of this, and you can kind of fold it in half and then cut it here. And what this will do is on your nail, you can kind of see, I know you can't see the clear very much, but you can kind of lay it over your nail to see if you can fit half of it on there. So I just kind of laid the clear over it to see, okay, well, I'm going to be able to get, the other half on there. Then what you can do is you can hold it up here and kind of see where your midpoint is, and then cut your strip in half. So you want to make sure to get that plastic off because it is much harder to peel the strip away if you don't get that plastic off. So this is the one without the tab. It's going to be a little more difficult to get off. Okay, but there we go. I got it off. So I'm going to grab the strip on the end here, and I'm going to line it. I'm going to go ahead and make sure my cuticles are pushed back real nice, and I'm going to line up the strip as close to my cuticle as I can, and I'm just going to kind of push down with my thumb there so that I can pull my finger away. So I'm going to rub back and forth on the end here. This is mostly for how I do solids. And then I'm going to run my finger just the barest touch down the center so that it touches the very end of my nail here. So on your cuticle point here where I started, to make sure that rounds off real nice, I kind of push back my cuticle a little bit and then run my thumbnail along the edge here to make sure that that is laying down as close to my cuticle as I can. So what that's doing is just making sure that you don't have to cut this if you don't have to. So then what I do is right here it tends to like to buckle, and it tends to like to pinch here too. So how you get it to avoid that is you're going to gently, and I emphasize the gently, tug your strip. You're tugging this way and you're tugging out too. So you're kind of gently tugging at an angle, and you're going to lay that strip down on the side of your nail here and rub really good. Get all the air bubbles out. So then what I do is I go take my thumbnail along the cuticle area here, and I just am kind of pushing this side of my nail against my other nail here. So that's making sure that it's laying down the best that it can. Now I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm pushing back my cuticle here to make sure it's as close to my cuticle as I can. And if you see there's excess on the edge of my nail here, so I'm just going to gently push. And you can also use a cuticle stick instead, the same story. Just kind of run this along your nail. Then when you get to the cuticle point, you just push gently. So you see how it's tearing there? So you can do that with your thumbnail too. Just run the back part of your thumb along against your other nail, and then just push when you get down to the edge of your nail. So this will make sure you get as smooth of a cut here as you can without having any jagged lines on the edge. So the nice part about cutting in half here is I can just, on solids, they tend to want to kind of leave your edges a little worn. So you can actually just tuck this around the edges here and tuck it under your nail on this side. I'm going to take my thumbnail and just kind of push it under my nail here. Pushing it under. So the solids tend to like to shrink. So what this does is it ensures that when it shrinks, that you have excess here that it'll shrink against. So make sure to rub really nice here. Now you can file or use your thumbnail to cut it off if you've got a lot of excess, but it's kind of nice on the solids just to make sure you have it folded around and just leave it for about 30 minutes and then you can file it. Another nice thing that I've learned is when you're done with your solids, take an alcohol pad and rub that alcohol pad over the solids on all areas. Use your thumbnail or your fingernail to kind of rub along those edge places. So this will help it kind of shrink up around as well. So you can do that to all of your nails afterwards and just make sure you rub all the air bubbles out. This will make it where you have a really nice, pretty manicure when you're done with it. So after 30 minutes, you can go ahead and file down those edges there. So now I'm going to show you two different ways to kind of do overlays. So this one's Kane's Fetty, which is now retired strip, but you can do this with any of our glitter overlays. I'm trying to grab them out of here. Okay. So on this one, I'm also going to go ahead and cut it in half. So I took my clear part over. I'm going to try to get it right down the middle here, if I can. Okay, so now I'm going to peel that up. Just a little, like I said, a little difficult when you don't have the tab, but if you just kind of work at it, you'll get it. Okay, so I've got it here, so let me grab it. Okay, so the normal way would be obviously to do it like this with the sparkles on the edge. So we're going to do that one first. Also, the thing about this clear strip is it's going to really make my manicure last a lot longer by double layering. So let's see. I'm going to rub it down the edge there. And I'm actually gently pulling a little bit because this one, I guess I used a different size strip, didn't quite make it to the edge, so I gently tugged at it. It's going to do the same thing. Gently tug it over there, rub it along the edges here. So I'll kind of go through the same exact method, but you can see it has the glitter on the edge here, on the tip. So another cool way to go about these, I'll show you on my middle finger, and I'll clean that up in a minute, but I just kind of wanted to show you. Another cool way to do this is the opposite. This one's a little harder because you're going to have to do a lot more cleanup in order to get this one to do its thing right. So I'm going to lay it, this piece, as close as I can to the bed of my nails and kind of use my thumb to kind of get it stuck. Gently tug to where it meets the end of my nail. So rub down the center, and then I'm going to rub to the side and towards the end here. So this one's a glitter strip. It's not going to have that buckling problem quite as much as solids do. So run my nail along the cuticle area here. Just rub it down the edge. Okay, so I'm going to have this part over here to definitely clean up because I did it opposite. So I have this one where the sparkles are on the edge, and this one where the sparkles are on the top. So I'm going to take, you can use your nail, but I'm going to take my cuticle pusher on this one. I'm just going to use it to perforate the excess sparkles here. All right, so I've got that. I just kind of use this to peel it up and then peel it off with my finger. Same thing on this side. And peel it up here. I'm going to go ahead and clean this one up just so you can see the comparison of the different ways to do it. So those are two different ways to layer your sparkles. You can also do it sideways too. I've seen people do it that way. So you can just be creative with these nail sets. There's limitless possibilities. All right, and I'm just going to tuck that excess under as well and let it cure, and then I'll come back and file it here in about 20-30 minutes. And the last thing on these sparkles that have big chunks like this one is if there's a sparkle hanging over the edge, you can use a nail clipper to clip that sparkle in half. That way it's smooth. So anyway, there's two different ways. You can see the two different options. This one with the sparkles on the end like it was created, and this one with a backwards sparkle. So there's my tips on how to apply solids and then how to do different glitter overlays. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If there's any videos you want me to do, let me know. So thanks for stopping by. Have a good night.